I haven't been using VSCode this year, but given that it's an approved product and I've got an MCP server for voice, I checked it out last night. Let's get the old voice going. I'll click on this button. It offers push. Hey, who am I speaking to?
You are speaking to GitHub Copilot. How can I assist you today?
So I just wanted to have a natural conversation with you. Oh, you don't hear. I got to press again. Hey, I just wanted to have a natural conversation with you, but it seems I have to press the button each time, and then the words appear, which is pretty cool. And yeah, but I don't want to have to do push to talk. Can I choose different voices? I don't like the voice that you've got. I realize you could say the same thing back, but I could do a different voice.
You can have a more natural conversation by enabling voice mode with continuous listening, so you don't need to press the button each time. You can also choose different voices for the responses. Would you like help setting up continuous voice conversation and selecting a different voice? If you tell me your preferred voice style, e.g., male, female, accent, etc., I can list available options and guide you through the setup.
Yeah, that sounds good, but I guess you're not going to hear me because I got to press the button again. Click. Oh, click that tiny little button. Targeting. Good target practice. Yes, can you please do voice mode, and then we can have a proper natural conversation. Okay, so I have to always allow something. Now, starting up. The things you get with voice mode are choice of voices and also locally hosted models. So you're not sending everything to GitHub. Now it wants to list the voices. Let's always allow that. This is a voice mode function.
Voice mode is ready to use, and you have many voice options. You can choose from OpenAI voices like Alloy, Echo, Fable, Onyx, Nova, Shimmer, or Kokoro voices such as AF_Sky, American Female, M_Adam, American Male, BF_Emma, British Female, and many more. Would you like to start a natural conversation with continuous listening? If so, please tell me your preferred voice, e.g., British Male, American Female, or a specific name from the list, and I'll set it up for you.
This again. So if I don't want to have to mess around with this, if I don't want to speak to her and do the slow thing, I can just do voice mode converse, and this works on Claude Code, and it doesn't work on Gemini's copy of Claude Code, interestingly. Here we go. And so this is just running a prompt. MCP servers have prompts. I don't know how to make this bigger, so let's just send it. It was good. I like that GitHub was able to, query what voices were available, and it could see my local Kokoro, and it could list voices.
Voice mode is now active. You can speak to me naturally, and I'll respond. What would you like to talk about?
Hey, so I haven't used VS Code this year, But last night I wanted to try out VoiceMode. And can you tell me about what other MCP servers might be interesting to improve the capability of GitHub Copilot in VSCode?
There are several MCP servers that can enhance Copilot in VSCode, such as servers for code search, documentation, testing, and AI-powered code review. Are you interested in a specific capability or workflow?
Well, at work we do a lot with AWS, and I know I've read that AWS has an MCP on GitHub. There's like AWS Labs/MCP, I think, and it's got a repo with a lot of MCP servers. Are these easy to use with GitHub Copilot? Because I believe they provide things like documentation. They can, augment your context so that you have the exact documentation, and that can improve responses. I hope this recording works. I'm really bad
Yes,
at this.
AWS MCP servers like AWS MCP can be integrated with Copilot in VSCode. They provide documentation, code samples, and context augmentation, making your coding experience more efficient. Would you like help setting up or connecting to an AWS MCP server?
Maybe later. Actually, I forgot to say at the start, but I'm recording this for a screencast just to share with colleagues at work because they're rolling out GitHub Copilot, so I thought it'd be worth people like knowing more about it, although I haven't used it really in a long time. Could you tell me more about VoiceMode MCP that we're using now? What are the benefits in terms of, well, what are the benefits? I'm not going to give you a leading question.
VoiceMode MCP lets you interact with Copilot using natural speech, making coding hands-free and more accessible. It speeds up tasks, helps with multitasking, and can improve focus by reducing typing. It's great for DMOS, pair programming, and accessibility. Would you like a deeper technical overview or a quick demo of a specific feature?
Yeah, so how do I add the MCP configuration to context so that you could help me add a new MCP server, like an AWS one? And also, are you able to search the web?
To add an MCP server, you usually update your MCP configuration file with the server's URL and credentials. I can guide you through the process step by step. And yes, I can search the web for information or documentation if you need it. Would you like to start with adding an AWS MCP server or do a web search first?
I'd like to add an AWS MCP server.
Great. First, you'll need the AWS MCP server URL, usually found in the AWS MCP GitHub repo. Next, you'll add it to your MCP configuration file, typically called MCP YAML or MCP JSON. Do you already have the server URL, or should I help you find it?
Could you find it? And also, could you tell me how I could follow along with the output from VoiceMode MCP? How can I follow the output from that in the VS Code terminal? Oh, fetching the MCP, hey?
You can follow VoiceMode MCP output in the VSCode terminal by opening the terminal panel. VoiceMode logs responses and errors there, so you'll see real-time feedback and any issues. Would you like instructions for opening or customizing the terminal view?
I've opened the terminal view, but I'm not seeing our dialogue scrolling back and forth, or our exchanges being logged. So can you tell me how to follow that? There's a lot of options. When I select the options next to filter in the terminal, I see Git, GitHub, GitHub Authentication, GitHub Copilot, GitHub Copilot Chat, GitHub Copilot Log, JSON Language Server, VSCode Speech, Extension Host Worker, Main, PTY Host, etc. You might know what the rest are.
To add an AWS MCP server, update your MCP config file, like MCP JSON or MCP YAML, with the server details. For example, to add the AWS documentation MCP server, use MCP servers, oslabs documentation MCP server, command uvx args, oslabs documentation MCP server at latest, env, fast MCP log level. Error, you can find more server options in the oslabs/MCP GitHub repo. For terminal output, select the GitHub Copilot log or VSCode speech filter to see voice mode logs and exchanges. Would you like help editing your config file or choosing a specific AWS MCP server?
I gave you two things at once there. I think VSCode speech isn't giving me anything. What's the other one that I should do?
Try selecting GitHub Copilot log in the terminal filter. That should show activity and logs related to Copilot and voice mode. If you still don't see anything, let me know and I'll help you troubleshoot further.
Okay, I've selected GitHub Copilot. I'm not seeing the output from the MCP server from voice mode, but there's a few other things I could select. Problems, output, debug console, terminal, or ports. Have you got any idea there?
If you don't see voice mode or MCP server logs in the terminal, try the output panel and select GitHub Copilot Chat or GitHub Copilot Log from the dropdown. Sometimes voice mode logs appear there instead of the terminal. Let me know if you see anything or if you want to check another panel.
Yeah, I'm not seeing ongoing stuff, and there's like a debug thing. Look, I'll leave that for now, but that was working last night. Okay, so you fetched the GitHub AWS Labs page, and you got some information there. Now, you can, MCP servers, is it possible for people to make HTML buttons that I can click on and then it will install the MCP server rather than opening up the JSON config file and all that? Oh, the knowledge.
Yes, it's possible to create HTML buttons or VSCode extension UI elements that trigger MCP server installs or config updates. Some tools and extensions offer one-click setup for MCP servers. If you want, I can show you how to make a simple button or guide you to extensions that support this feature.
No, I don't want to build an extension, but look, I can see here that we have MCP. I've got 3 lines that I've copied from the AWS web page, and that has a streamable HTTP transport. So does VSCode support that, and what do I need to type to open the file and put it in context to show you? I guess I can add context and go files. Oh, MCP resources. Okay. Trust MCP servers from Cursor. No. And I'm not going to use Cursor. Add context. We can go files and folders, maybe. And files and folders settings.json. Okay, that's not working. So can you tell me how? Oh, hello. VoiceMode MCP server got an error. Cancelled. Well, I didn't mean to cancel it, but if I want to start it again, I can just go converse. And we can start another one, and the journey can continue. So, yeah, I reckon it'd be helpful to get some quick things done, just to speak. If I open files up, though, that's the next step, because...
Would you like to see how to create a clickable button for MCP server setup, or do you want to continue with another topic?
Sure. Can you create an HTML page with a clickable button that would install, say, VoiceMode MCP? You might need to search the web and look on GitHub at mbailey/VoiceMode, all one word. I might need a faster computer to do this. Okay, what's happening? Oh, okay. So I've opened up the VoiceMode repo, and I've got MCP settings. That's in Klein, Rue. And I'm now kind of in a different, I don't know that I've got GitHub open. Agent. Alright, so, I mean, what we could do is just go docs and then integrations and then VSCode and README, and then we could, that's added to the context. So I think I might have another window open with the other one, but let's just ignore that. We'll see how we go. Being a bit loose. Start a conversation. We're looking at the docs here, and I don't know about this VSCode link button to install things. So let's see if GitHub knows about it. If you're trying to document support for like 10 different editors and you only use one of them, you only use one of these, then, you know, you could spend a lot of time installing all the things and working out how to use it. So it'd be good if people who actually use these and use
VoiceMode is ready. What would you like to talk about?
So I've opened a file in the editor and shared it with you. And this is the instructions for VoiceMode integration with VS Code. Could you please add a a button, search the web if you need to, add a button that will install VoiceMode MCP automatically when a VS Code user clicks on the button. This will be through GitHub, or this page is also, I could put it on the web, but yeah, just on, I'll be doing it, viewing it on GitHub to begin with. For those that don't know, Markdown is the language of the future, and it can be converted quite happily to HTML or other things. All right, so it's told me what I want, what I really, really want, and it's ended the conversation there. Claude Code doesn't tend to do that and tends to be a bit faster. But there are some positives, and there are a few
You can add a
things.
button to your GitHub README using a Markdown link or badge. For automatic installation, the button can link to a script or GitHub action. Would you like a simple install script link or a more advanced solution like a one-click GitHub action?
I'd actually like, so I believe that you can have a link on the web that will install a GitHub extension, and I'm wondering if it can also, if we can have one that installs a GitHub MCP configuration. Is that something, you can search the web and find out whether it's possible to do that.
There is no direct way to install a GitHub MCP configuration via a web link or button. Extensions can be installed with a link, but MCP config requires manual setup in VSCode. Would you like a button that links to setup instructions or a script to automate the config file creation?
I'd just like to add a server, so I just brought up the commands menu, and it says choose the type of MCP server to add. So now I need to select something, and I'll go command standard IO. Oh no, I don't want to do that, so I'll go escape. Oh, escape, and it's all gone away. Okay, add server, HTTP, excellent. URL of MCP server, here we go. Oh, no, that's the configuration. Okay, I just need the URL, so that simplifies things a bit. This is pretty cool. This is a cool, I mean, you have to be able to find it, and you didn't tell me directly how to do it, but, you know, we could teach you, you could teach us, knowledge exchange. Oh, there we go. So it's in my config code user mcp.json servers AWS knowledge. That's the one. So let's see if we can use it. All right. So the converse keeps stopping on VS Code. Sorry, on Claude Code it just works and it's faster. But this is the second time using it, so we'll see. I'm sure that the smart people out there can educate me on how to make this faster and a smoother experience.
You've added an HTTP MCP server for AWS knowledge. If you want to add VoiceMode as an HTTP server, use a URL like http 127.0.0.1:8880/phone or https api.openai.com/phone. Would you like to add one of these now, or need help with another step?
So what can I do? I've added the AWS Knowledge MCP. How can I use it? Could you please tell me, could you please suggest a good function for getting some knowledge, maybe about CloudFormation using this?
To use the AWS Knowledge MCP, you can send a query to the server for information. For CloudFormation, try asking, what is AWS CloudFormation and how do I create a stack? Or show me an example CloudFormation template. Would you like a sample code snippet or a step-by-step guide for querying the server?
Let's see. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a file and share it with you. And it's going to be called demo CloudFormation .yaml, and I'll share it with you. So how do I make? Oh yeah, it's shared. So you should see it after I've said this. I'd like you to use the to refer to the AWS MCP, AWS Knowledge MCP, to create me a CloudFormation template that will retrieve, that will basically provide everything I need. If I provide a parameter with an S3 bucket name, it will set up S3 inventory. And, okay, my time is up for speaking. Now, I've never used Agent to do anything.
I'll generate a CloudFormation template for S3 inventory, using a parameter for the bucket name. Would you like the template to include basic inventory configuration, or do you need advanced options like encryption or custom destination?
I'd like parameters for anything that I might want to change, depending on the bucket, but I'd like defaults, and I don't need the advanced, but I'm wanting to see you use the AWS documentation to get it right, so you don't rely on your training alone. So maybe do advanced. Oh, you missed that. Oh, fetching 2 resources. What are you fetching? What are you getting? I want to see. Terminal. Or view. Can we view MCP output? That'd be great. Terminal. Alright, so we've got some stuff happening here. Except I still don't know how to do that. And so here's a CloudFormation template. All right, well, you fetch 2 resources. What did you fetch? Well, that doesn't sound like you use the AWS thing. So I'm going to start Converse again. Oh, you did it. Okay, good. And
The CloudFormation template is ready in Demo CloudFormation YAML. You can customize parameters for bucket name, destination, frequency, and format. Would you like help deploying it or have other Oz questions?
yeah, but you didn't use the AWS Knowledge MCP server for this. I'd like to see an example of you using the AWS Knowledge MCP server to benefit in terms of you having the exact documentation, I guess, for AWS stuff. I don't know, what benefit can I get from that? Tell me, read the description of the tools.
The AWS Knowledge MCP server provides up-to-date AWS documentation and answers. You can ask it for best practices, code samples, or explanations about AWS services. For example, you could query, "Show me the latest CloudFormation syntax for S3 inventory." Would you like to see how to send a query or integrate it with your workflow?
Yes. So can you send a query? Of course you can. It's got tools, right? So you can use the tools. So show me the latest syntax for S3 inventory.
To query the AWS Knowledge MCP server, you can use a tool or API call to send, "Show me the latest CloudFormation syntax for S3 inventory." This will return the most current example from AWS docs. Would you like a code sample for making this query, or do you want me to run it and show the result?
Have a guess. What do you think I want?
You want me to run the query and show the result. I'll send "Show me the latest CloudFormation syntax for S3 inventory" to the AWS Knowledge MCP server and display the answer.
Yes, you got it right. Yeah, please do that. Okay, well, why is that? Why can't you do it? All right, I'm going to leave this now, but yeah, this shows some possibilities. Exciting days.